The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is Black Hollywood Live, Breaking Into. Featuring in-depth interviews with today's most influential entertainment figures, highlighting their tips, tricks, and techniques on breaking into the entertainment industry.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, Breaking Into.
Yo. Hey, he always has great music too behind him.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, it's Kendrick Lamar playing. James Lott Jr. here, breaking into here on Black Hollywood Live. We're going to another episode where we talk to people leading in their industries, and we're going to talk about what's going on with them, their philosophies, tips and tricks, and all kinds of stuff as we pay it forward, share knowledge, and I heard a car crash. I love it. Share knowledge, pay knowledge, and be there for each other, of course. I'm happy to have this person with me today. She is just fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Boards Magazine named her one of the nation's top 10 live action directors. Okay? She's directed music videos, movies, TV shows. She was the executive producer for Color Girls.
Yes.
Go on, girl. And her latest film, With This Ring, was on a Lifetime network that came on last month. Nominated her some awards, the NAACP awards. I'm like, okay.
Yes.
And she's a cool chick. And Nzingha Stewart.
Well, hello.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. It's so great. I was telling her before the show, of course, that I just love your hair, and I love that you do. If you Google her and see her just pictures, always looks different. Always.
Yes. It's usually an indicator of my mood. If it's all black, I'm just not in the mood. When it's colorful, I'm happy and in good time.
I like that. I do. I like
Right.
that. Okay. I like so now when I see pictures, I'm like, oh, okay, she's okay today. She's fine.
Right.
She's
She's
fine.
in good spirits.
So you can follow our Facebook page, Breaking Into, which I actually posted some things about her on the page, of course. And you can always find the link to the show on that page too. And then, of course, we have other shows on Black Hollywood Live. BHL Online is our Twitter handle. Breaking Into, hashtag Breaking Into is our Twitter handle. And, of course, I'm at Black Hope LA. So let me get started with you. And I wanted to ask you first. People like titles. Mm-hmm. And they like to, I always feel like titles are to figure us out, so to speak.
Yes.
So when I say the words to you, female director, African American director, female African American director, black director, black writer, what are your feelings on those titles? I mean, are they necessary? Do they bother you, not bother you? What are your feelings on those?
I don't think they're necessary. I think they will persist anyway. I'm proud of all of those titles. I am a black female writer,
That's right.
director, and I'm happy to be. I think we get into murky waters when those titles mean I can't get a job that is not specifically geared towards women or black people, because there's a plethora of great work out there that other people have access to, that sometimes they hear black female or my name, or I walk into the room and there's, whether it's said or not, they see me and think black female writer director, and I can tell this is going to be an uphill battle because they see that first before we even get to talk about the work. So there's times I don't love it because it means it's going to be an uphill battle for me getting to do what I love. But in terms of how I feel about it, it's something I'm proud of. It's something I hope inspires young girls to follow their passion, and in spite of the uphill battles they might face because of color.
I think you bring a good point. I'm kind of the same way. I kind of feel like it's okay to call me those things as long as you're not trying to use them against me.
Right. Right.
It's just like they're fine. Yeah, I'm a black host or a black producer or whatever. That's fine, but I'm a producer,
right,
too. And you're a director. You're a writer.
Right.
You're a producer.
And does that mean, as a writer or director, you only think I could be eligible for jobs for black people or black women because I happen to be a black woman, when you can have numerous Caucasian directors doing movies about black people? And
as I sip my tea.
Well,
yes.
Tell it like it is.
I know. Because it's true, because you bring up a good point. Your name.
Yeah.
They probably look and go, okay, first of all, what's that?
how do I pronounce it? How do I spell it? Yes.
But then again,
but it is black.
It is black. It is.
Right.
But also, but they're using it against you in a sense of like, well, someone with that name can't direct a show like. Did you do? Was it Major Crimes?
Yes, I'm actually about to do another one.
I mean, like, why couldn't you do that? Like, because your name or your race.
Well, luckily with them, it didn't matter. And I've been asked back, and it was a lovely, wonderful experience. I think it's more when you get into when you get into features that it really, really counts and really can be used against you. I mean, I watched The Martian last night. I loved that film so much. I watched The Revenant yesterday. It was a big movie day for me. And I was thinking, we have never, ever, ever, ever in the history of Earth had a black person direct a movie at this level.
Wow, that's true.
So, when they hear Nzingha Stewart, they might say, without looking at my body of work, without saying, music video directors are really great stylists. That's what we need on a movie like this.
Right. Yes.
They might just say, "Oh, she's not right for it."
Right.
Because without knowing why, but just automatically, and that's with women in general. Like women don't really do those movies either.
No.
So that's when it, that's when it can be a thing.
Because it's one of those things. It's so weird to think in the history of like all the kind of award shows that are out there. And there's so many female directors. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
People would be so surprised. I mean, people who are actors of female directors, people like Kim Fields and Deborah and Debbie Allen and all. They direct episodes.
Regina King.
I mean, they direct episodes. I mean, it's really interesting that there's so many out there, but like only one is won once in like 100,000 years, and like all these. I mean, like it was Catherine Bigelow finally won one, and I was like, that's the only one. There's so many.
Yeah.
Doing great work.
Yeah. Ever.
Yes.
So, yeah, it is definitely, it's an issue. And I mean, particularly with my name, that's a name that I chose because I changed my name. I went to a trip to Senegal. And
did you really? I heard Senegal's beautiful.
Got all extra black. and then changed my name.
Okay.
And even though sometimes I feel like if I just said Stewart, like Cher.
Oh, right.
And, and then got in the room, like, with them not knowing, race or color or whatever, gender.
Yeah.
Maybe that would make life easier. But I also feel like there's a power in that African name that sort of gives me the strength to push into those rooms and know, hey, she was a queen who called herself a king to get respect and led an army. We can do this.
Yes.
We can do this.
Well, I can tell you just from my own experience, my name is nondescript, so people don't know my name, what it means. A lot of times when I James Lott Jr. say, "Oh, okay," then they see me, and that's when the problems. So the problems can still happen. Yeah,
right.
Problems can still, so they can still happen. So I'm proud of you that you have a name that they can't ignore it.
Yeah, yeah.
So their stuff's going to come up either way. By just hearing your name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's different because I'm a screenwriter as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like you send out a script, and I've always just wanted to do it as an experiment.
Yes.
Like just written by Stewart.
Okay. Yeah, right.
And just see how it's received.
Yeah.
Just with them not knowing.
You could do like a short little documentary on that, actually.
Probably.
You could be.
You might.
I'm giving you work. I'm just giving you work.
Might have just started something.
I'll produce it. You direct it. No. It's just funny that it's one of those things that's something really would be an interesting experiment. If you sent that out, what do you think? It's a man,
right? And just like, who is this person with one name? It creates intrigue.
Yes.
It's not a black name.
No.
It's just
a name.
Stewart.
I love that. Now for you, are there any other female directors? There was one. I forgot to write her name down. Kazi Lemons.
Yes.
I love her. She's done stuff and stuff. So, are there any other female directors that you really admire that you really admire?
Pretty much. I will say this: if you are a female director who has made it through the system, I admire you because I just know what it took to do that. I do love Kasi Lemon's work, as well as just the fact that she made it through. I love Ava as a human being and her work.
Yes.
Julie Dash, one of my favorite films of all time is Daughters of the Dust.
Oh,
and
wow.
It moves me, and makes me feel feelings.
It's okay to feel feelings sometimes, right?
Right,
Like
in my parts. But Julie Dash is definitely one that I love. But there's a lot of men. I mean, would any of us be here without Spike?
That's true. No right.
I love Spike Lee. Mm-hmm. So and I'm grateful every day for his existence on the planet.
I just watched this weekend. He did a documentary called Michael Jackson from Motown.
I haven't seen it yet.
It is so good. Like, I mean, it's comprehensive. It really showed the footage he got and who he talks to. It's just like, oh my God. And Saida Garrett's on it, of course. But the way he talks, it's just that it really, the piece itself shows the evolution of a boy to a man before Thriller. Like, it totally shows the evolution. And that's Spike, obviously. That was his direction. You know? So I just...
He's a storyteller.
Yes. When the levee breaks, I mean, I just like levees break.
Was amazing.
Amazing.
4 little girls.
Yes, I mean, just he does amazing storytelling. So you're right. He ushered in a new era. So when you were growing up, you saw that.
Yeah.
What did you think from some of his earlier works, like School Days and all those things? I mean, Do the Right Thing.
I was really young when School Days came out. Okay. But it was a rare movie that even as a kid, like, it stayed with me. Like that Wake Up, I didn't understand because I was young. Like, I don't know what I do with this ending. What does one do with an open ending? Like, you know, when you're like a kid. Yeah. But that's kept working on me. That like a movie can be something that stays inside of you much longer than when the end credits roll. And the same thing with Do the Right Thing. I remember thinking, like, I was little thinking like, well, that's not right because he tried to give him his money and then he broke the trash can. but it stayed with me. Like, it was such a, I'll let you decide if this action was right or not. That, you know, it made an impression. Like, there's a way to tell a story that breaks conventions and is wonderful.
So I just have to ask, because we're in that season. And you can answer if you want or not, or answer how long enough you want or not. So what are your feelings about the whole Oscar situation?
They're a little outside the mainstream black folks.
Probably like mine, probably.
I mean, I'm not that incensed. I'm not going to boycott it. I'm going to watch it. I'm a little sad that Spike isn't going to be there to receive the recognition he so deserves. I want them to show that body of work and cut to his face and have him feel that in the room, him knowing how great he is. But I feel like the issue is not, I mean, when you have, let's say, you have 5 people nominated for Best Actor. Well, the performances I saw were fantastic.
They were good. They were good. They were.
Like,
they were
who do you
good.
kick out?
Right.
Leonardo,
Exactly.
Like, who do you kick out?
And
so, I thought they were really. I don't want it to feel like they shouldn't enjoy their moment too, because they earned that moment.
They did. I agree.
Where my issue is I think that the Oscars so white problem is really indicative of the studio system so white. That's the hashtag that I want to see, because
I agree.
The pressure, the Oscars, I mean, the head of the Oscars is a black woman. What if this poor woman loses her job behind this controversy?
I
know what I mean? It's not her fault that the members didn't nominate it, and she's been trying to open it up, trying to be more inclusive. But I think when you have, like I said earlier, movies with hundreds of millions of dollars behind them, A-list talent, wonderful A-list DPs, editors, the kind of people that make an Oscar caliber movie, and we never have a chance to make them or to star in them.
Yes.
We will get shut out of the Oscars because there are movies that really deserve it because they have that money.
Yes. We all know it's a business.
Let's just say it.
It's a business.
We can't make a movie like The Revenant.
Right.
Because we don't have that kind of money.
No, we don't.
And we cannot make a movie in space.
Right.
Like The Martian without somebody putting some money behind it.
That's true. That's true.
I put it back on the studios for just never thinking to give us a chance.
I agree. I completely. You just basically kind of mirror what I feel. I just feel like it always starts from the top. The Oscars we all know are political anyway, and they have their own stuff going on. It starts from the top, which is studios.
Yes.
And money.
Right. So, and you see like a movie, and this is no diss to him at all. I don't mean it in this way, but you see a movie like Tron, which has hundreds of millions of dollars behind it. That's a first-time director.
Yeah, it was.
Can you imagine a black person being a first-time director getting a movie like that?
I know.
Like,
yeah, I know.
Okay, that's all.
Yeah,
I
good girl.
say about that.
Okay, it's like good. I was just curious because we're in that season. I've been asking everybody who's in the industry because we're in that season. I feel the same you do on that one. What kind of director are you? Would you say you are?
I think that I am. You know, it's weird. I meditate every morning.
Oh, good. Okay.
And I think a lot of what I do in my spiritual practice is how you become a great director. I'm a very present director.
Well, I love that. Okay.
Which is the practice of meditation, is just being here. I think when you are really, really present as a director, you can see, is this working? You're present and you're there for your actors to be their first audience so that they can trust, I can let myself loose because Nzingha's watching and making sure I'm doing my best work. I'm present to, is this lit the best way? That I'm in the room. I'm not on my phone.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say I'm a very present, very observant, which is another meditation. You know, observe the breath.
Yes.
I'm very observant as a director and listening all the time.
I always tell my clients, people know I'm a life coach, about being present. And because when you're present, you're a more active listener. Yes. Which is so important in so many parts of our lives and in the industry. When you're an active listener, you're a better actor. Yeah. You're a better director,
that
better
is
producer.
acting is listening. Yes.
And so when you said that, I was like, I fully feel that, the being the present thing.
Yes. And that's me energetically as a director. I mean, I come from music videos, which is a different kind of directing. So I'm a very cinematic director. Like style is important to me. How a thing looks and using those tools and techniques to make something really cool as opposed to just straight storytelling.
So a lot of your work, you're looking at the background wall and what's this look over here and the clothing, I guess, and the clothing and the hair and you're looking at everything. Yes. That's so I like that. So funny. You're like
that's fun to play with.
Yeah, it is. And you say you come from music videos. We'll talk about it a little bit in a second, but that's kind of interesting. So that must permeate through your television work. When you go on to set like Pretty Little Liars, that you've done. You must come on and okay, let's look at this room for a second. How the girls' hair and how the guys' clothes and the colors match, and you probably do all that, don't you?
Yes. Well, TV's a little different because it's been really like a substitute teacher.
Funny.
They have set up the whole thing, and you're just coming in to babysit that week, and then there's a new person coming in the week after that. So you just try to be. Well, substitute teacher / dinner guest. I sometimes think of myself in that way. I just want to be a good guest. Bring the right bottle of wine. Make sure I'm invited back.
Yes, exactly.
Everything, the table has been set by the host. Okay. And features, like when we did the Lifetime movie, that's something I wrote. Yes. And in music videos, it's ideas that I write. Then I'm the one who's setting the table and I want it lit like this, I want them dressed like this, I want here's the palette, here's the room, here's the world, and I set that. With television, it's more coming into something that's already set up and putting my special stamp on what's already existing.
That's good to know that. I didn't realize that. I just want to mention, with this ring, which was on Lifetime last month, stars it was Regina Hall.
Who's amazing.
Jill Scott.
Amazing.
Brooklyn Sudana, who folks don't know that she is the late Donna Summer's daughter.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, I'm Sudano. I know that name. She's beautiful. And I forgot the last one.
Eve.
And Eve. Who yes. I wish Eve did more acting. I love Eve as an actress.
And I love her as a person. All of those girls were in my room, in my hotel room, taking out my braids. That's the kind of cast that I have.
God.
Oh girl, you can't take them braids out, but you be here till Tuesday.
I kind of imagine, I've always had this, and some of my friends know this, I've always had imagined that Jill Scott was my best friend. I just love her so much.
She is amazing. So she is amazing.
I just feel like her spirit comes through her music, comes through her acting. I was like, are you my best friend, Jill Scott?
Yes.
Best friend?
Yes.
I'm sure. And Regina Hall, of course, I love her. I mean, she's great too.
It was a love fest in general. Okay. And it's tricky because you get 5 black women and you're what's going to happen? But they all loved each other so much. Like we would hang out after this, we rapped and Jill and Regina. I mean, Regina couldn't keep her hands off Jill. I'd be like, leave her. Like, she'd be like, I just love her.
I can imagine her saying that. Oh my God, I can imagine her saying that. Oh my God.
Exactly.
I think Regina Hall is an underrated actress, actually.
I think she's Lucille Ball.
Yeah, seriously. I just think she's just, I mean, she could be a BFF too.
To be able to do comedy
Yeah.
is so, because I mean, you can do drama, and if you don't cry, it could still work.
Yes.
If you do comedy and someone doesn't laugh, it fails.
Ooh, it does.
And Regina is really,
Yes.
she's like Buster Keaton. Like, she's great with comedy.
Yes. You have a good point. Again, us black folks can be anything. We can do anything.
She should be really, she should be at the level of a Sandra Bullock.
Oh, I agree. I always felt
She
that
can handle the drama and the comedy in the same way.
What's funny with her, and I thought of her and Anna Faris for a while. They were kind of like doing the same kind of movies. I was thinking, why isn't she up there with Anna Faris like that? Let me sip some more tea, please.
Right, exactly.
I do come from Southern families, so I'd say it'd be nice. But no, it's a great film, of course. You got attention for it. You got NAACP awards.
And then Wednesday, Women's Image Network.
Yeah, okay, go on, girl. Okay. So, I mean, but how is it getting, you're doing this because you love doing it, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is something that you do. And so you probably wake up yearning to do what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
Is that the best thing?
Yeah. Like, I'm waiting for all of the award stuff today. This morning, I had to get my face done because I did something else this morning. I can't do this by myself. And she said, oh, you didn't have to do anything, or, because I didn't have to put on a face this week. And I was like, you realize getting dressed up is not my job. She was like, you didn't have to work. I was like, this isn't my job. Like, I'm waiting till this is over.
Right.
Because I feel so inspired
to get back to work, right?
I am itching to just have a moment to sit at my desk and write.
Ooh, I like that, yeah.
Yes, before going back into episodic in a couple months. I mean, 1 month.
So now, directing your own writing piece, what is that like? Is it easier? Is it harder? I mean, like, how does that work for you?
Easier in one sense. It's only harder in the sense that you're so attached to it that you have to, as a director, move back so the actor can really make it theirs. Good and point. Not like, I heard it in this way in my head. Good point. Like, nobody likes that. Yeah. So you have to consciously be like, you're not the writer today. You are the director, and you have to see what they can bring to it. It is easier in the sense, especially when you compare it to episodic, because you don't have an episodic television. You have a writer on set who's like, actually, the line was meant this way. Like, when you write it, you know what the intention is, and you can just work. Okay. So,
now, do you mind if people improvise at all or change the line?
You mean you can ask Jill and those guys? Okay. I love it, and every day I'd be like, I can't wait to see how you surprise me. Because it really is creativity in the room bubbling up that like, I love to see where the spirit leads. Like, these are, these characters are new souls that come into the world that I want to see what they tell me. So,
I like that. And you're being present. So you're being open to the universe to present to you whatever's going to come out of the day, right?
And when you encourage it, then they love it. Like, they're anxious to show you like what they got up their sleeve that day.
I mean, and they're all professionals. So I know I'm sure they come in, they're going to do
They know their lines.
They know their lines, right. But it's also kind of, because I also notice as a writer myself that sometimes a person will bring something that's just really real to that situation, because we're at our desk or we're on the beach or where we are writing our stuff. Sometimes you're busy in the writing of the story and setting it up and getting the scenes together, where now they're living it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so now real stuff comes out of living.
The character that inhabited me in the writing process has left me and now inhabits them. Yes. And like, I get to see how this person is living, like, as an observer. Yeah. Like, it's kind of the creative process is just,
I love the creative process.
I'm grateful every day that I get to do this.
Wow. And so with this ring, did it turn out the way you kind of thought? Because anything with projects you do, I wonder how that goes.
I think so. I mean, I think whenever you work within the network sort of system, you still have to make it a movie for this network. Got it. So there were a lot of, like, just to me, like, fun editorial things that anything that I thought was fun, get rid of that. But the essence of the movie, it turned out very much like what I wanted, and I was really happy with it. And most importantly, like the actors are really proud and happy, and like they worked so hard. I was glad. I saw Regina Saturday night, and she's another movie won for something. I won't even say. She was like, "Our movie was better than that." So I was happy she felt that way after working so hard.
She felt some ownership with it,
right?
Which, as we know, people feel ownership to things, then they will carry it with them and do them as even better. They carry it with them inside.
Yes.
Which it feels better. Yeah. I like that. How did it feel being nominated? How does it feel being nominated? Like, what does that feel like?
Happy. I want it all the time. It was awesome. And it was, during the whole controversy, I've always been the person who felt like, don't be all happy when you on Vogue if you're not that happy on Essence. Like, our opinion of us is valid too. Yes. And so I felt super, super grateful that like my folks liked it enough to say, let's put this up there. Yeah. Like I feel so grateful.
So it's okay. And so you feel, because I feel the same way, it's okay to have some things that are just us celebrating us.
Hell yeah.
I agree. I totally agree.
I mean, it has to be that way. Just for us to sometimes feel like somebody saw this and appreciated it and loved it and thought it was worthy of something. Because the one thing I did agree with was when Jada was like, just even ask it. Like, I don't even like the way that feels.
Right.
I don't want next year a whole bunch of black stuff nominated.
Exactly. Right.
Just because now they gotta do something.
Right. My little small opinion, it was kind of funny with the SAG Awards. It seemed kind of funny that all of a sudden it was the Black Awards.
I think, though, there's a difference.
Okay,
and I think that SAG is younger. Like, the voters are younger.
Okay.
And more open. And I think that it's not... like, the membership makeup of the Academy is 94% white.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so it's going to be much, much harder to get on in there than, with SAG, which has a much more diverse and younger makeup. So I think they were more reflective of America. It wasn't, the BET Awards where every black person got something.
You get an award, and you get an award, and you get an award.
It was the ones that really you would guess. Absolutely, Uzo deserves to win.
Oh, and Idris deserved it for Beast of the Night. He totally deserved it.
I wanted that little boy to win.
Me too, yes.
Absolutely, those people deserve to be nominated. And then it wasn't like when you saw people who weren't of color win, you felt like, but it's fair.
It's
like
fair.
The right people all won.
Right. So, I agree with you on that one. I just want to briefly talk about your time in Senegal, because I think it's very interesting. You went over there what'd you go over there for?
I went to NYU, and I was a scholar, and like as a kind of a little present for keeping our grades up, they would send us on a trip once a year someplace for like 3 weeks. And they sent us to Senegal that year, so I was still a teenager. And we went to the point of no return, which was where all the slave ships left from. And they showed us the line where they said, after you cross this line, you can no longer be called by your African name. If someone called you that, their tongue would be cut out, because they wanted you to think of yourself as property.
Oh my God.
You were X until you came here and were named Stewart or whatever the master's name. You were X until that point. And I remember consciously crossing the line and thinking, when I go back, I'm changing my name to an African name in honor of them, just because I can. Their names can now be said out loud, and there's power in that. So, yeah, that was how it all happened.
I've been to the Caribbean many times, Eastern, Southern, all that, the West Indies and all that, and I saw some of the points of entry when they got here. And very powerful stuff that made me sob like a baby. I mean, just things I saw. I mean, it's like a grown man sobbing like a baby. He sobbed, the ugly cry.
Energy in those places.
You totally,
you
feel it. And for me, that was just like 10, 15 years ago. But it stayed with me, not with changing my name, but now I tell people I carry all of them on my shoulders, but it's not heavy.
Wow.
I carry them on my shoulders to kind of say that anything that goes on in my life is because of them.
That's beautiful. But it's not heavy.
It's not heavy.
It's wings.
It is. I just feel like it's always with me. It gets me all teary-eyed, but But I feel like it's really something that your story is kind of inspiring. That you went over there and you were like that. That line must have been really profound to see that, and then you came back and said, "That's it. I'm changing to an African name."
Weirdly, I felt at the NAACP Awards the other night, I had a flash where I just looked around the room and everyone was so beautiful in their dresses, and I thought, wow, like, all of us, if you go back a few generations, somebody in our family was in the hot sun.
Yes. Working
for free, maybe being beat. Like, and look at us. Like, we have come so far on our own volition. Like,
yes.
I love us.
Yeah, me too. Me too. No, me too. Yeah, no, me too. Yeah,
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, my stepdad, who's turning 80 this year, used to pick cotton in the morning before he went to school in South Carolina.
And that's your stepdad. That's
just a generation before me, literally. And so to hear those kind of stories, I'm like, I have soft hands. I don't know if I could do that. But it's like, I really admire him because he's now he's able to see, he's seen a black president. He's telling me how proud he is of me, the things that I'm doing. It's like, he's who I'm doing this for.
Wow.
That's how I look at it. And that's why I said your story sounds so interesting that you decided to, you're like, I'm going to have an African name because I can.
Yeah.
And for them, that they can hear it.
Yeah.
That's just, I love that. I just love that. Okay, so the music video stuff, we're going to just switch gears for a little bit.
Okay.
How'd you get into that music video directing? Because a lot of times back then there were a lot of male directors, obviously, that were running around in there. So how did that happen for you?
That I knew I always wanted to do.
Oh, so you did? Okay.
Yeah, I knew that in high school that I wanted to do that. I went to NYU, but I went for Black Studies in Film. I didn't go for film school. I mean, Black Studies in Philosophy. So I did not go to film school.
Okay.
I got some really good internships. And I mean, it was ghetto. I was doing videos for like, I'm not questionable characters who wanted to rap and had cash.
Oh, okay, hey, there you go. Two good combinations, I guess.
Right. And I built a reel doing that and just hustling all over, like letting people know I do this for a living.
Okay.
I wrote treatments for other music video directors so I could hang out on their sets and learn.
Smart.
And then around 2001, like the Common video with Erica came out and really broke things open for me. Like I could stop working for anyone else and just be a director from that point on.
Because I've heard your name before, and I remember hearing it from. I remember hearing it from the videos.
Oh wow!
So I was like, I know this. Well, it stands out, of course. But it's like I've heard her name from the videos, I guess. See, because I was one of those people who like would see the credits and like who does the video and FKA Gray did videos back then. And they started in videos.
Yeah.
Because now you've worked with some people. Who are some people you've worked with that you tell people out there you've worked with? I think
50, Common, Kanye, Eve. It was so funny because Eve and Jill I worked with in music videos before this movie. A lot of rappers, and it was, someone asked me like, that must have been hard, and I was like, actually no, it's harder in white Hollywood than it is because all of those guys were raised by single black women.
How funny. Okay.
They were used to a woman knows how to budget.
A
woman knows how to keep you on time and organized. A woman can be strong and keep it together. They were used to seeing a woman in that light, and so I never had problems with the rappers. It's when you get into Hollywood where so often, I don't know what they mamas did for a living, but they were not used to that, and it felt like I was so often not challenged, but not heard, because they just assumed like, well, that's cute.
Right, they dismissed you probably.
In a way that like the rappers were like, no, she knows, you need to respect her. If anyone stepped out of line with their crew, like she knows what she's talking about.
Wow. Because that's a good point, though. That's a good point. I guess we all love us. We were raised with grandmothers, mothers, aunties. Who
kept it together.
They kept it together. Who worked.
Yeah.
And raised 100 children. Because back in the day, we raised the kids down the streets. All the kids in the community. Yeah, it's like when I tell my kids, you guys are fortunate because when I was a kid, any adult that talked to you.
Right.
If I told somebody, you're not my daddy, you're not my mommy, they would beat my ass.
Right.
And they would. So it's one of those things that, and the women were holding it down. They were just like, they were taking care of business, and they made it. I mean, as an adult now, I have my own kids. As an adult, it was like, I always wonder how they did it.
Yeah.
Because they made it look so kind of effortless.
But it was what you said. It was a support of a whole community.
The village.
I want that back in
Me
every
too.
aspect.
Me too. Oh my God! I talk this on my show all the time.
Like-
I said we have gotten away from the village mentality. We are from Africa. You respect your elders. You bring up the young people. You support each other. Why in our community, it seems like in the Black community, we have a lot of me, I. Only one slot. I want that slot. It's like, why aren't we making 5 or 6 or 7 slots?
We've been westernized.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, and it's like the village. No, it's because
that's not how we were supposed to think.
No,
yeah.
Other races pull together.
Right,
Latinos,
exactly.
Asians, they pull together.
Yeah.
And cousin so and so and auntie this person, and they all pull together.
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing that?
And we had it. We had
did.
it. And I think in a lot of ways we took our eye off the ball. And this is gonna sound so, but I'm not arguing for segregation. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But there was something when Black doctors and Black lawyers and Black teachers lived in the same neighborhood as Black maids. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Where like their kids could be influenced by them, and they, you know, they were there was something to that. Now it's like, especially in LA, like if I want to see Black people, I'm going to the hood.
Yes, you have to. You got to go to Lamar Park. You know, somewhere in Compton. You know, so I mean, you have to come down South LA. I always say South of Wilshire.
Yeah.
Come down there, and there's certain pockets that are still kind of like that, but even that's kind of changing
I
too.
miss that talented tenth being in the community. I mean, I never really lived it because I'm young, but
Right.
like just thinking about having lawyers and doctors on the same street, you know, as a lot of these kids who need to see that.
Yes, they do.
I don't know what the answer is. It's
I don't
just
either, but it's an ongoing.
ideal time.
Yes,
in
it
my
is.
mind,
I'm sorry, but it's an ongoing answer, and
Yes.
hopefully people like you will help that along. What are some kind of, I don't know if advice or just words of wisdom you would give to young, just Black directors, actually, you know, male or female these days? Like, what would you give them? Some pieces of advice.
I would say, you know, use anything you have in your hands. If you have an iPhone, make a film with 5 of your friends. That you can do that now.
You sure can.
Just to even get the practice. Like, maybe it's not gonna, you know, but just to even get the practice, go, you know, go to the library or go online. But the library has good film books.
They
You don't
do.
have to spend the money to buy it. Like, anything that you have that's in your hand, pretty much every opportunity that's ever been granted to me has come from a resource that was just right there. I just had to like realize, oh, I know what I can do. Like,
yeah.
I can put up these flyers. I can do that much and
right.
tell people what I do and put my number on it and get called. Or, oh, I have this friend. She can blah. Like, it was always thinking within, what do I have right now? And don't limit yourself by, it's too hard because I don't have that thing yet. Like, do something with what you have, and you can do that today. If it's reading, if it's going to the library and reading a book on filmmaking or screenwriting or writing 2-page treatment of something you'd be interested in, you can always do something today to get you that step closer. You don't have to wait.
I agree. I think it's great advice. I think people need to realize that, especially in today's age, with the advent of YouTube and cell phones and this and social media, the resources are right there for you.
Yeah.
And you'll get there. You just keep going. You'll get to where you think you might want to go.
I think just even universally, the second you start doing it, like the universe says, like, okay, she's or he is serious about this. They have spent their weekend making a film with their friends and using what they had and editing on their computer. Right. Let me open another little opportunity for them because they're moving in the right direction. You know.
Yeah, I do.
I mean, I might be old crazy lady.
No, I know you're not. You're not.
But
I totally agree with you.
that's
I totally agree with
think.
you. How important was schooling for you? You got through it.
Kids should go to college. That's my standpoint.
There we go. We're like, next question. No, but I mean, it was good for you, obviously, on some level.
amazing internships.
Oh, good.
I just didn't study anything in my field, so I couldn't say, you know, but I did get amazing internships. I got opportunities to travel because of my scholarship.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And the scholarship got me to New York and out of Atlanta and in a place where I could make the kind of connections that to this day continue to serve me.
See, there's a point. You maybe not been the most academic in school, but it still led you a direction. It's the whole goes back to the whole thing of just keep going. You never know what's going to lead you where.
And maybe that's not even true. I mean, maybe like the academic part is helpful. I mean, I studied philosophy, but I like to think movies are about ideas, and philosophy is the study of ideas throughout history. So it's all in there. Yeah. You know what I mean? But what I studied.
You seem philosophical.
Not a plan B kind of profession.
No, you're philosophical. I can tell. Okay. I asked my guests the same 2 questions. I never tell them what it is until the moment.
Okay.
So you have to answer. Okay. One, I feel that language is very important. It can stop us in our tracks. It can also propel us forward. And my first question to you is, Nzingha Stewart, what kind of word in English language should we take out? Should we not say anymore? Could be anything.
Well, there's the obvious one that's coming to mind.
Yeah, I'm sure. I had people say that one,
but
okay.
I sometimes say it. It's an accident.
Right. That's real.
But when I travel, that's when I feel its ugliness. Like when I'm like in another country and we're in the car listening to music, and you hear it over and over, and they'll ask like, "Why do you say this word?"
Oh, interesting.
Like it's like, I don't know.
Wow.
Or like,
okay.
what does this mean? Or like, I was trying to, I was in Costa Rica. I was connecting with these guys, and they loved Tupac, and we were talking, and they kept saying the word, and I had to stop and be like, I'm sorry. It's making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And so just how that word travels outside of the community and worldwide, and how ugly I feel when it's said.
Yeah. That's a good answer. We'll keep that one.
Guess it'll be that one.
We give a great answer. It's a good answer. Now, what word do you think we should bring back to our vocabularies? People are either not saying enough, or we need to say it more. Or...
Thank you.
Ooh, I like that. No one's ever said that on my show. I like that.
Yeah, I think every single thing, every good thing and on earth starts with thank you. So whether it's thank you to the universe, whether it is a person parking your car and having that human moment of just acknowledging them. Thank you. We should say that more.
I like that. I like that. Now, where can folks find you on like social media or anywhere in the universe?
On Instagram, straight flexing, is Nzingbling, which is NZINGBLING.
Yes.
On Twitter, Zingbling.
Yes, I love that.
And then just Facebook, Nzingha Stewart.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Thanks for being on my show.
Why, thank you so much.
So
this was so fun.
Your next project, you gotta come on.
I am shooting a couple of episodic things immediately. I'm doing Casey Undercover with Zendaya. I'm so
how funny. How fun. Okay.
And then another Major Crimes. And then I just sold a series to Hulu, a half-hour series. Wow. So I'm looking forward to just jumping in and starting to write.
So after that, the series, you can come on here and we can talk about the series and everything.
Love that.
It's more about philosophical things.
Well,
I love that.
It's pretty ghetto. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Ghetto's fine sometimes. I don't have a problem with that. But thank you very much.
Thank you. This was awesome. I appreciate it.
And so, of course, you can follow us on Black Hollywood Live's YouTube page, Facebook pages, all over there. Breaking Into as a Facebook page. I'm James Lott Jr. Black Hope LA on Twitter, and James Lott Jr. everywhere else. We'll see you next time.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio, Instagram @KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in. The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.